Hello, this is going to be a video showing you how to get the epic skeleton for the Manny or Quinn characters into your own character mesh. The start point is this. We have a custom made mesh, custom texture painted from Blender, which we put into Mixamo. So the skeleton you see here is the Mixamo one, and it's sort of bound to the mesh quite nicely. Okay, so that skeleton works pretty well with the character, although the placement of the elbows I see now is slightly off, and I do get kind of, it's pretty low poly really, so I do get kind of angled elbows and knees, but in terms of generally the way it moves around, it looks quite okay, maybe, but yeah, it shows it's a concept tester really rather than anything else. Okay, so here's our skeletonized mesh, and what we need to do now is get a mesh pose for the skeletonization process. So we're going to get the epic skeleton doing a static thing, and that means it's easier to retarget our character to that pose, and then develop a separate mesh which we can then skeletonize and include the epic skeleton. So the next step, which will be probably another video, I think, will be after some adjustments to the skeleton in terms of moving bones around and joints around, and maybe redoing some weight painting, which is nice and quick and convenient within Unreal Skeleton Editor. Then you can grab the control rig, which means then you can do proper animation. So an adjusted skeleton inside this custom mesh will then get the standard Mannequin control rig, but custom organised and just reformed just to suit our own mesh better. Okay, so all this can be done entirely within Unreal. So you get your mesh, put a Mixamo skeleton in it, import it, and then from that point on you're entirely in Unreal. Okay, so I need to go and find some viable skeletons to work with in the Unreal skeletal meshes. We've got my Mixamo character here, plus the Manny or the Quinn. Now, there's no particular rule that says use one above the other. It just so happens that the shoulders on mine are fairly wide, and the Manny one suits them a bit better. That's the major difference I can see in terms of joint placement. Anyway, so what we need then is to get this simple Manny, and I'm going to open my other level. So I'll take this off, open my basic level, so it's got fewer distractions, fewer other stuff in there to get mixed up with, and drag in a Manny. Okay, so I'm going to put it there for the moment, and it's going to help matters quite a lot if I just recenter that, and that's what this handy little arrow here is for. So put that in the center of world space, and I don't really need to have a good look at this character, because what happens from this point on is not a lot of character animation, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm going to add in a level sequence in which this animation will take place, and I'm going to call it whatever it is. It's an LS for level sequence underscore, and it's going to be Manny Annie Apose. Okay, kind of a long-winded name, but kind of gets the job done. It's easy to get, for me it is anyway, easy to get confused a little bit further down the line. So now we want to incorporate this. So we're going to add actor track, and there we are, SKM Manny Simple. It has a think, and we want all of this except for this. This is the control rig, which will be kind of useful on our character, but we don't need it for this. It's just going to take up key space. Okay, so I'm just going to show a bit more timeline, and I'm going to drag in the end of sequence. Only really need about 60 frames of this, if that. I've not experimented with any less. I'm kind of following what I was suggested to follow. So I'm going to select this and then hit the record button. So I want to record, and when that kicks off, finger poised, ready to stop recording. And it gets to the end. Oh, well, that's good. So I've got a little bit of that lack of action, but it's recorded now as a kind of as an animation sequence. So the next thing is to bake it out. So if I go to here, right click and do bake animation sequence, and this time it's a Manny Apose. So Manny Apose, and looks like it wants to put it in meshes for some reason. I don't want it there. I want it in content. Okay, so back to the content browser. Oh, by the way, you'll get this sequence options when you want to export, but you'll also get this. Let's cancel that. You'll also get this layers thing, which turned up off screen, but we don't need this, but this will be really useful later on. So once you're dealing with things like mocap and recorded action like this, which will have keys on every frame, you'll want some way of kind of preserving the good bit of that and then being able to sort of work on top of it as if it's like a layer in Photoshop, doing a sort of additive approach to the action. So it's kind of non-destructive editing really, but anyway, we don't need that for now. So I'll do that one again and follow through this time. So bake animation sequence, give it a name, Apose sequence, put it in the content, and that should be fine. Okay, and then the options are, I don't think I've changed any of these, so just leave them at defaults. Export to animation sequence, and there it is. So kind of minimal fuss. Okay, so back now to this, and let's start filtering. So in here now we've got my mixer character called Crude. That's reminding me, telling me that it had some paint and it's been through Mixamo. Here's the animation sequence that just resulted, and here's the level sequence with it in. So I'm just going to do Control Shift and S to save everything, and then we can move on. Okay, so I now need this sequence. I'm going to retarget to it. For some reason it does kind of open with it, but I guess you can do multiple retargets. But anyway, we're going to do retarget so that this animation can be used by our character, or my custom character Crude. Okay, so there's a Manny Simple. We are targeting to my one, which is Crude Paint Mixie. Handy tip, choose names which are at the first half of the alphabet for your characters. I know it's not really good creative logic, but it really helps getting stuff quick. See, this sequence I also wanted to be start with the words Annie, but I forgot. So I've got to go down here to find the actual sequence that I'm transferring through retargeting. So it's that one, SK Manny Apose sequence, and then we're going to do export animations. And I'm just going to make sure that it's starts with that one, and yeah. And do I want it to get rid of anything? Yeah, I probably do. I want to search Manny and replace it with an underscore. Might end up with 2 underscores, but there we go. So export, overwrite existing files you could do, especially as it sometimes takes kind of 2 goes to remember everything. So Control-Shift-S to get rid of the save thing, and now we've got this. So you might be wondering what this achieved. Well, it's achieved a much closer relationship to the kind of default skeletal arrangement for this character. So of course the epic skeleton will be cranked in this way at the arm, have that sort of stance, a little gap between the legs, and actually I've noticed that once my skeleton gets replaced with the epic one, that I need to adjust that a bit, but that's kind of to some extent coming up in the second video. Okay, so I've got this pose, and what I need to do is convert this kind of down to a static mesh, and that happens here. So this is the animation sequence. This isn't just the Mixamo character, and it's still got the Mixamo skeleton in. So from here I go to convert to a static mesh, and it's going to go there, and its name is static mesh. I don't think so. So I'm going to call it SM Crude to give it its full name, and it's going in content folder. And then once I've Control-Shift-S to get rid of that, so down here, and let's convert this to a skeletal mesh. So convert to skeletal mesh, and here's where I'm going to use an existing skeleton, and I'm going to use the Manny one, if there is a separate Manny one. I can't remember. No, so it's just the standard SK Mannequin, which should be fine. Okay, it takes the change, it doesn't get rid of the dialogue somehow. So it's going to have that skeleton in, it's going to have that prefix, remove that prefix. Let's do it. It doesn't get rid of the static mesh, by the way. It is going to create a new thing. So now we've got the epic skeleton into this static mesh. So a quick Control-Shift-S, and let's double click and see what we have. Okay, so you can see here that the position of the hands not quite right, the shoulders not quite right, and all of these elements here should be stuck in the mesh. So what will follow is modifications to the skeleton. Generally it's moving elements around. You don't need to kind of rejig anything. There might be a little bit of rotation to get things to fit just a little bit more snugly, and I've noticed that the neck's not quite right for my character. So if I go have this angled view, there's with all the other bones in there, and if I can just select that neck bone. So there's a few extra bits that the Epic Skeleton has, apart from all the five joints, finger joints. My Mixamo was set to one finger, I think, or yeah, one finger, so not even a thumb. So I kind of need to move things around a bit of that. But I'm probably going to take a lazy approach, so not bother with the hands so much. But the shoulders are the key point, really. Get the shoulders right, and a lot of other things are kind of easy to follow through with. Okay, so if I find spine 05, I'm just going to change the selection so that I can't see other than the selected bone. So there's that one, and then I want what's probably called so it's kind of the highest spine bone, and then on top of that would be probably the head. So yeah, and when I say on top, I mean below in terms of hierarchy, of course. So it splits off to the arms and such like, and I think, yeah, that's, oh yeah, there we go. So there's neck 1, neck 2, and then there's a head. So yeah, the fitting of those could be better in mine, so there's some things I'll move about, but you can definitely see that the shoulders were not right. So selected and parents. Okay, so my character has a kind of a pretty small neck area, and I think neck 02 is effectively the head, so controlling the rotation of the head. But at the moment it's not, of course, grabbing the mesh. So the process, once you've done the bone adjustment, but I'm going to cover some of the adjustment process in the next video, would be to approach the edit weights, go to the source skeletal mesh, which is the Manny one. So SKM Manny simple, and then transfer the weights, and you can see a little change in the mesh there, and the pose probably tightened up a bit as well. But this is to get some default weighting down, and you can see there that there's some weighting there painted in just for that bone. Once you get into weight painting, it can be very sort of involved, and the idea is to do just enough and not perfect it, and motor on through the process. So that's what I'll be doing. Okay, so once you've set the skin binding, which you do accept, and then you've got some control over the animation there. You can see the face is kind of contracting into itself because the joints aren't appropriately placed for the mesh quite yet. So that's an aspect I'll be sorting out. Okay, so next video we will adjust the skeleton, maybe do a bit of weight painting for the vertices where required, and then we'll whack a control rig onto it and be able to animate it with full control then. Okay, so see you in a bit.